Well, let's try this again. Yee. My whatever. We've got little technical difficulties, so I had to do a little work here to get reestablished to be able to continue on with more on freedoms. And yesterday I'd done a live stream that hit heavily on our faults, our illusion that we have freedoms, and it is an illusion of freedoms because we don't really have freedoms. And to continue on, not to repeat what I went over yesterday and I've gone over before, but as a continuation, I had brought up before this got interrupted about, freedom is just another word for nothing left to lose. We burden ourselves because we've created a culture that we equate success with having a lot of stuff. We create an illusion, this belief that the bigger your house, the nicer your car, all those things are the definition of success. There's often been told a story, and I don't remember exactly where it came from, but you may have heard that a young kid, and we constantly hear this, and I brought this up in another live stream as well, that you reach, by the time you're able to walk and talk, you've got some stupid adult, and I'll say stupid, ignorant adult, sitting there, what do you want to be when you grow up? And one kid that was smarter than the adult asking the question, one kid that had more intelligence as a kid than this adult did, that was wiser than this adult, responded, happy. Money is not the answer to happiness. In our society, of course, there is a certain level we have to, for survival, money is part of the equation. We've allowed this fact to override our sensibilities as to our overall and general happiness in life. It's often been said, and it's true, that stress is the number one killer. That you can be relatively healthy throughout your life, and then you can undergo great stress from whatever personal relationships, economic relationship issues, and so forth, and your health will start failing. It's also said, and I know through my life, because I was for a while, I succumbed to this false narrative, just like a lot of people do. That it's all about this fight for money, the money, 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 stuff, 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 stuff. And we looked at people that, oh, look, they built themselves up from this place, and look at them now, and they've got all this stuff, stuff. It's all about the stuff. The wealthier people are, the higher the chances are that they have relationship issues. Have you ever noticed that? The wealthier, the more quote unquote successful people tend to have the most relationship issues because their focus in life is not on the relationships, their focus is on this illusion of success. And I refer back to our president who ran on his success, on this illusion of success. He is far from being a rags to riches story. He never tasted the rags part of life ever in his life. And he has made a career out of branding himself as successful. He embellishes everything about his life, from the numbers in his bank account, from the touting of the numbers at his rallies. It's all a false narrative designed around I'm successful. You need me because I'm successful. But think about this. What has transpired in the last 2.5 years of his presidency? And it hit me, it hit me real hard. It's like, this is why Trump is going to lose. Not because of coronavirus, not because of the racial tension and the police brutality, not because of those issues. But he's going to lose in part because of his response to those issues. And he's going to lose in greater part because of 4 years of this harsh, horrible, divisive language and divisive tone that he set the stage for from the very minute of campaigning. And he's continuing that up to this point. If you watched any part of his rally, especially the first some hour, 30 minutes to 40 minutes of it, he is still carrying that same tone. And this is what's going to kill him against running against sleepy Joe Biden, is because a lot of the country's like, well, I'm not so sure that sleepy is not a good idea. We'd like a little rest. We would like a little rest. That'd be a good thing. Let's get a little rest. So sleepy Joe Biden is becoming very attractive to a lot of people. I may not agree with everything. And, you know, both these men are perverts, you know, all this stuff. But it's like, God, we need a break. It's not just from the coronavirus. It's not just from the racial stuff. We need a break from the rhetoric of horribleness. And that is part of freedom. There's another side of freedom that ties in with the Trump and his base and so forth that they don't get. And this same freedom has been recognized for years and years, decades, from how right-wing Christianity looks at freedoms. And there's some of the right-wing Christianity, some of the biggest flag-waving, honor the troops, home of the brave and free and blah, blah, blah people you'll find in the country. They are we go in most churches, they've got the crucifix and the flag. God and country, they're all about that. And but where they fail is they don't understand that freedom means that I'm allowed to do things that offend you. I'm allowed to do things that you don't think are right. That's freedom. We haven't seen true freedom in this country in forever. I would venture to say that most people in their lifetime don't have a clue as to what true freedom is. But that's what true freedom is. True freedom is, and I've said this, and my Christian friends, they just think it's awful. They love it when I say, I'll lobby for the Church of Christ to build their church on this side of me. Oh, they love that part. But when I say, I'll also lobby for the Church of Satan to build on this side of me, oh, they freak out. I don't agree with either one of those. I'm not a Satanist, and I'm not a Church of Christ. But I believe in freedoms. As long as you're not hurting other people, as long as you are not stealing their property, damaging, physically lives, I've got a right. And that's freedom. And as an advocate of freedom, I have to support their rights. Even though I don't agree with what they're touting, even though I don't agree with anything they're putting out there, you've got to support their right. I don't agree with a lot of things, but I have to say at the end of the day, it's not what I would do. I don't like it. But there you go. People have the right to support sleepy Joe Biden. At the end of the day, you've got these rights. Of course, with those rights comes responsibilities. There's no doubt about it. The freedoms of responsibilities. You should have the freedom to do these things, but in accepting those freedoms, in touting those freedoms, in embracing those freedoms, you equally have to embrace the other side of those freedoms. And that's the responsibility that comes with having those freedoms. But that's just basic law of physics. Every action has an opposite and equal reaction. If I do this, this is going to happen. So we learn from that. We learn that, if I touch the hot stove, I'm going to burn my hand. So hopefully we learn from those things. And that affects the freedoms that we have. It's like, I've got the freedom to touch this hot stove, but I don't like the result of having touched that hot stove. But on a people to people level, our freedom should not be curtailed simply because of the reaction we get from people who do not like the freedoms that we exercise. It's one thing to have a hot stove and get that reaction because it's an adamant object you're dealing with. It's not an emotional thing. It's another thing when the reaction you get from doing something comes from a group of fellow humans that simply don't like what you're doing. As far as what we're dealing with on the racial tension in this country, which literally has never truly gone away, but it really heightened again under one Donald J. Trump because of his rhetoric. No matter what he is as an individual, his public persona, what he presents on the stage of his political soapbox is divisive and gives way to that. Now, if people want to be a member of the KKK, they've got that freedom. If you want to fly the Confederate flag, you've got that freedom. But as the owner of this store, I've got the freedom to say, I don't want that in my store. It's my store. I don't want that in my store. It's funny how one-sided they are, the one-way street these people are on the way they view things, because they equally say, you can't force me to serve a same-sex couple. That's your stupidity. If you're in business to make money and a same-sex couple comes in and wants a cake and you turn it down, don't complain about your economy. Just whatever, you turn down business. That's you got the freedom. As far as I'm concerned, you got the freedom to turn down business. But don't say those words and then get upset because somebody else says, I don't want that Confederate flag on my property. You see that? You connect the dots there? You can't say, I don't want this same-sex couple over here. I'm not going to give them a cake. And at the same time say, I'm going to carry my Confederate flag onto your property. You want the freedom to deny them service, but you don't want to allow this other people the freedom to say, I don't want the Confederate flag. In this country, you've got the freedom to fly not only the Confederate flag, but you can stick the Nazi flag on your house, unless you're paying this homeowners association to tell you what you can and can't do. But you've got that freedom. You can buy a Nazi flag in this country and you can stick it on your car, you can whatever. You've got that freedom. Other individuals are going to look at it and give you a hard time, just like you want to give a hard time to same-sex couples or whatever. It's not a one-way street. Personally, I don't care. Well, the only thing, you notice is the type of people that do this kind of stuff is kind of scary. The type of people you see with the Confederate flags and all this stuff. They're the good old big pickup, loud muffler, those types that you just not sure if you really want a daughter. You know what I'm saying? You're just not sure. That's the kind of people who's like, stay on your side of the street. I'm just not sure about you. It has nothing to do with skin color, but you're supporting an issue that kind of concerns me. You got the freedom to do that, but I also have the freedom to say, come near me. Don't come on my property. Don't force that stuff on me. Religion has the freedom to spout their stuff. They stand on the street corners. You better believe in God or you're going to burn in hell. They got that. And to me, that's an act of terror, telling me I'm going to get burned for eternity if I don't believe like they do. But to me, that's terrorism. You're terrorizing me and trying to put fear into me to buy your stuff. But you got the freedom to do that. We have given you, that's part of freedom. You've got, But we restrict from culture to religion, all these things. We want to restrict these freedoms based on our views. Well, I think, I've always pondered like, okay, so men can go without a shirt in public all day. I can show my upper torso all day. A woman does that, she goes to jail. Breastfeeding. Are you freaking kidding me? A natural act of feeding your child? You find that offensive? Then you've got a problem. We have gone down a road that is so skewed in the last 20th century, especially. We've gone down this horrible road to where our interpretation of life in general is so upside down crazy. If you go back through history, the naked body was considered art. You go through the oldest statues and paintings, and they were showing breasts, they were showing penises. It was all a part of art. And nowadays we're just offended by the body. Your body offends me. I think it's insulting. I think it's horrible. And people laugh at it. People put it in. I don't see it as much now as I used to, but maybe because the friends have weeded out on social media. But people be taking pictures of other people, like at Walmart and so forth, and their bodies are not the perfect bodies, and the way they dress or groom themselves, we are very harsh with, because we want everybody to conform to our perfect little view of the world. Wear your hair this way, dress this way, this polo shirt. It's just presentable. Do I look good in my polo shirt? But if I wore something else that you would consider outlandish, did you see what she had on? Oh, I can't believe it. You don't have to fucking believe it. It shouldn't matter to you. What our perception, and we're so superficial in everything we do, that's why it's like our success again. Freedom is like, ooh, look at them. They went up from the little shack in the woods to this big palatial mansion. They pulled themselves up and they worked hard, and look at the success they've got. So we idolize that kind of stuff. That's how Trump became president. That is 100% why Trump became president. Look at him, the American dream, Donald J. Trump. He uses his freedoms to spout off the most crass and awful things a man can do. He wants to build a wall because fuck them illegals. He wants to do this, and he's got money. Look at his money. It's a plane. He has his own plane. Trump. He had a yacht. The Trump resort. The Trump. We idolize that bullshit because we somehow think that because he's got that he's going to save the world. He didn't get that by putting other people first. You know that, right? He didn't get that. In fact, he used his money as leverage to build on. If you had filed bankruptcy as many times as that man has with his companies, you wouldn't be considered successful in your neighborhood. He's just dealing with more zeros behind these numbers, and he's using those zeros to manipulate people, to manipulate outcomes. And then he uses the legal system. Now, this is the same bent of people. I want you to pay attention. The same bent of people that we want to put a cap on these lawyers. We want to put a cap on these lawsuits. This shit's got to stop. We're just bogging down our judicial system with these frivolous lawsuits. Have you looked at how many times Donald Trump, who's supported by those that said that, he's again in the news today or yesterday because he's threatening to sue somebody else, his own family. That's what it is. He's got his lawyers threatening to sue his own family and their publishing company because they're publishing a book about Cousin Donnie, and he don't like that. So he's bringing a frivolous lawsuit, just like the one that he brought against Bolton to try to prevent that book from being published. Because if it's, so the very people that wanted to bash down on lawyers because of frivolous lawsuits, why isn't anybody criticizing him? Why isn't those people that criticized all this stuff, why aren't they criticizing him? And why is it that the most famous billboards in Alabama, if not the United States, are a billboard about a lawyer suing? There's just so much hypocrisy goes on, and it all has to do with money. And we equate freedom with money. We equate success with money. Yet we overlook the fact that these moneyed people have the highest ratio of divorces. And they also have a pretty high ratio of suicides. It's not like they don't suffer, because the money is not the key to this internal happiness. And it's certainly all this stuff that you accumulate in your life does not give you freedom. All this stuff you accumulate in life burdens you down, enslaves you, and forces you to get up every fucking day of your life and plug along at your job because you got this bill, you got that bill, you got this bill, that broke down, this needs to be fixed, this is getting old, and on and on and on, and then you're going to wake up 40 years from now. Oh, I get to retire. But wait a minute, I have a pain. Let me go to the doctor. By the time you get there, you wore yourself the fuck out. You may get 2 or 3 years of, let me go fishing. Then you got to have this transplant, that surgery. I am the only male that I know in my entire group of peers, people, acquaintances, not even in my immediate, I don't have that many people in my immediate thing. Every male I know in my age group from 55 to 65, and actually from 50 to 70, that hasn't had open heart surgery. They work their asses off. One of my closest ones, good guy, worked his entire career, and his entire, I'm not saying he's out of his retirement, but he has suffered dramatically through his retirement because he's had heart problem after heart problem. He's very obese. He's got all these issues. Now I've got nowhere to talk about, the stomach. And that's what happens. You take your most vigorous years of life, you take your most, what we call productive years, and we spend those because we're trapped in this culture of what is important in life. Get your education. Who's offering a fucking education these days? They're not offering, they're offering debt. These people that go get their master's and their doctorate, unless they've gotten some sweet deal of a free ride through university, they spend the first third, 1/4 or more of their careers paying for that. If you put the figures to it, the guy that took the minimum wage job at 18 and just minimum wage throughout his life came out better. He saved more money. He netted more money because he wasn't burdened with the debt of school. He wasn't burdened with those things. He also wasn't burdened with the trappings of success. Because everybody touts, my son is smart. Have you ever seen so many fucking stickers in your life of my child is an honor student? Or I'm a soccer mom. See, we promote this false narrative of success. Where's the bumper sticker that says, my child is happy? My family is happy? Where's that bumper sticker? Where are we promoting freedom? I'm not going to school. I'm taking a journey across the country. I'm going to see nature. I'm going to go kayaking. And I'm going to share my adventures with the world. Did you ever envy the people that could do that? Do you ever get on YouTube and there are a group of people that spend their time doing YouTube videos sharing this stuff? They see life. There's work involved. They've got to sit in their RVs and whatnot and compile this information, make it presentable, trim it down to 20 minutes or so, and produce this and get it up. It's a job. They got to make it as entertaining as possible. They got to show interesting stuff. And then they got to figure out how to monetize that. So it's not like it's not a job, but what a sweet gig. Because they decided not to go the regular route. They decided not to go with what culture dictates. You've got to get this job over here. You know, you got to go to school. You got to get that piece of paper. That piece of paper is so important. How many ever got that piece of paper? Grade school paper. Did you get anything above the grade school paper? And what are you doing with your lives? Have you ever noticed that you can start out and you can live in this little efficiency apartment? Oh, this is neat. I've got everything I need. Nice, neat, and packaged right in this little space. Then you go along and you get to a point it's like, I need a little bit bigger space. And of course, the pressure there is, when you going to buy a house, son? Don't you think you need to get a house? You're wasting your money in an apartment. Yeah. So you go out and buy a house. I'm like, wow, look at all the room I've got. I've never had this much room in my life. The living room's empty. I got a bedroom. There's nothing in it. Wow, look at this. I've got a house, 1,200 freaking square feet. Wow, what am I going to do with this space? 2 years later, man, I don't have room to walk around my house. I need a bigger house. I've got too much stuff. You see, it's a trap. It's a trap. You're not living life. You're accumulating stuff and you're working for it. How much time do you get to really sit back and enjoy the stuff you got? Really, sit back and I think I'm going to play with this. Now, trust me, there are people into their 40s and 50s that are still playing these computer games. But that's what makes them happy. To me, to live in a world of reality TV and a world of gaming is like, there's a real people out. There's real life. There's real stuff. I don't have to do it virtually with make believe stuff in a game on so called reality TV. When I was growing up, my mother and sister were trapped into this soap opera thing. Like a lot of people were, especially women back in those days. And as a young kid, I'd be at home a lot of times as that stuff was going on. And I thought, man, I don't want to spend my life doing that. Why do I want to watch other people living life? Why am I not out living my own life? Why do I want to sit back and read about this guy taking a journey across the United States on a bicycle? If I like that, if I found it fascinating, why don't I get my stuff together and get me a bicycle and take my own freaking journey? Why do I want to live out my existence watching other people live? Why am I not living? Why am I not getting the fullest of life? Because I have this false narrative that I've got to get a job, I got to get a wife, I got to have 2 kids, I got to have 2 cars, I got to have bigger. Wait a minute, now we got cell phones. Now I got to have this, I've got to have that. Boss, you got any overtime? Can I work some overtime and I need to make some more money? You say yourself, you got no freedom. I got friends, I got acquaintances that have actually, over a period of time, didn't start from the bottom. I want to make this clear. It wasn't like they started out with absolutely nothing. There was something there. There was family that had acres and acres of land. There was property. It may have not been palatial property. It's not what they've got today, but they built upon something that the family already had. It wasn't like they started from the ground and did with nothing. Let's make that clear. There's a big difference. There's a lot of people that actually have to start from zero. That means I don't have a pot to piss in. My family didn't have any land. They didn't have anything to leave me. Now, I'm not knocking what people are able to do with what they've been provided. But they have built this situation they live in, and it is maintenance heavy because they've built this, they've added on that, and they've done this. By the time they got through building on over here, this is rotting over there, it's falling apart over there. And it's a constant. It's a constant. Well, if they're happy with that, and that's the way they want to live their existence, super great, fine, whatever. That's any. I mean, who's knocking it, right? I'm not knocking it, except that's not the way that I see life and freedom. I look at it and I've told them straight up. I said, "You got a beautiful place. I wouldn't have it. I don't mind visiting it, but I don't want the maintenance. I don't want the headache. I want the freedom. I want a minimalist life to where I can live. I want less baggage so I can say, look, I've got the urge to go that way today." People say, well, what's that way? I don't know. That's when I want to go that way so I can find out what is that way. You see? The problem is we overplan, we overdesign, we overdo life totally. We're not exploring. We're just seeing what other people, what my majority of people do. You go, botanical gardens. There's nothing to explore there because that's all been built. It's all been planned. It has all been designed to get you to come there. It's not wide open spaces. It's not going where no one's gone before. You're going to Disney World, Fantasyland, which is all what? It's a theme park. It's all about money. It's a facade. If you look behind the facade, it's not so pretty. It's to sell you on this illusion of, the Fantasyland. I'm not saying it's not fun. I've been there, done that, and never went back. Because to me, life is too full of really exciting things to be caught up in that. When's the last time you just took off somewhere? Where are you going? I don't know. Wherever the car takes me, because I'm on an adventure. You don't have to if you overplan, you're going to miss opportunity because you get tunnel vision. I've got this goal. I've got this plan. I've drawn this map out. I'm going to stick to it and I'm going to get what I want. So you get that tunnel vision and you miss this. You've driven right by it. The most fascinating, interesting thing you've ever seen. People that look for Bigfoot. It's kind of a standing joke with these Bigfoot people. They got tunnel vision because that's where he saw Bigfoot. I'm going that way. And what's right there? They missed Bigfoot was right there. They walked right by Bigfoot because they had that tunnel vision. They weren't scanning the area. Same way with the ghost hunting. I've watched some of these guys. Some of them's got million freaking subscribers on YouTube. They pump out these videos. They're like little mini Hollywood productions. They're in this building and all of a sudden something will slide off from right off the camera. Did you see that? The ball rolled. It started somewhere over just out of vision of the camera. It rolled right across there. So I made the suggestion. I've got one of these. You know what this is? This is a 360 camera. If I go ghost hunting with this, then guess what? I can see all around me. Up here, down there, all around. You know why nobody wants to use one of these in their ghost hunting, in their Bigfoot adventures? Because these things are produced. These things are choreographed. That's why they're able to sit a camera on a tripod and point it that way, because they know that they're going to put Bigfoot right over there. It's not per chance. I'm aiming my camera. Why am I aiming it this way? And why do these people, I'm going off another tangent here, but it's questions I've got. Why do these people see Bigfoot? They got the Bigfoot is right over there. Why aren't you approaching Bigfoot? I don't care how scared I am of Bigfoot. With all this stuff going out trying to prove Bigfoot's real, if I see Bigfoot and I'm like a couple 100 feet, 300 feet away from them, and they're behind this tree and they're kind of maneuvering through here, I'm going toward him. And I'm going toward him fast because I want to be the guy that captures that evidence. And I'm not going to be able to capture that evidence by sneaking around the trees. I mean, yeah, do you see him? Do you see? That's not evidence. Are you scared of Bigfoot? Then you shouldn't be out looking for Bigfoot. That's all I can say. It's the same way with ghosts. It's all theatrical. It's all theatrical. If that's what you enjoy, fine. But me, it's like if I'm out searching for something, I'm not going to run for it if I think I found it. I'm not going to hide from it. Like, hide. I'm going to do that. If I think, wow, that's Bigfoot, you bet. I'm going after Bigfoot. If I think that I've seen Bigfoot in that tree line over there, I ain't playing. I'm going to follow it. I'm going to get as close to Bigfoot as I can. I'm not going to be happy with just a short clip of a semi-blurry freaking figure peeking around a tree. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to go straight toward that shape that I'm insisting is Bigfoot. What can I say? But that kind of ties into freedom, because freedom is like, get out and live your life. If that's your thing, if you want to be the one that proves this, it's just like these people that expended their life's energy investigating the mountain gorillas. We didn't realize mountain gorillas existed in the 20th century. So that's fine. That is great. But somebody took their lives, they walked away from all the modern stuff and said, I want to know about this. They didn't watch TV. They didn't do the reality TV and all that crap. Freedom is not about owning stuff. Freedom is not about accumulating stuff. Freedom is not about having big houses. Look, man, I wished I lived there. Look at that wonderful drive going way down there to that beautiful home. And look at the nice, shiny new cars they got in their driveway. They got 4-car garage. Look at that. Success. Oh, I'm so envious of their success. Well, no, I'm not envious of their success, because that owns them. That's their brand. What are they known for? Their success. Quote, unquote. Freedom is just another word for nothing left to lose. These politicians, our government, religion, culture, does not want you to enjoy your life. They don't want you to live life. They don't want you to experience freedom. That's not what they're about. No soldier in your lifetime fought and died for your freedom. If that were true, we would be the freest people ever on this planet. Every time we have a conflict, we give up more freedoms. Please search my shoes, I'm scared. Please search my body, I'm scared. Please make me get a license to do this because I'm scared. We allow the handful of bad people to control a world of good people. We allow the minority of bad people that do these bad things. Let's take again what's going on in this world as far as these race issues, as far as this police brutality and the protesters. The news caught on to the looters, the rioters, and the burnings of buildings. In spite of the fact that that was less than 20% of what took place. That was less than 20% of the people engaged in the protest that engaged in that kind of behavior. But that 20% was allowed to taint the image of the overall protest, what this is all about. And this is the way we do in life. Gun advocates. I'm not anti-gun, but these gun advocates, it's everything's resolved by a gun. Every freaking thing is resolved by a gun. They worship their fucking guns. That's all you hear. They're scared. That's all it is. Cops are scared. People that advocate their guns, they live in fear. That's what it's all about. It's fear. There's no freedom in fear. I've been all over the place. I've driven. How many people you know been stupid enough to drive to Mexico City? No, four-wheeler, Mexico City. It's a hellacious drive. I dare say that nobody you know has done that. I have. I'm not saying I'm the only one that's ever done that, but most people get on a plane and fly to Mexico City. I wanted to experience it. I drove to Mexico City. I saw things that most people never see when they go to Mexico because they're thinking of Cancun. They're thinking of the resorts. They're not really seeing what these cultures are about. They're not really seeing Mexico. They're seeing a resort. They're locked into this little bubble because they're scared, because they have been sold fear and they don't have freedom. This is why people accumulate all the stuff they do, because of fear. Preppers. I'm somewhat of a prepper, but these people think they can prepare for every freaking thing that ever could possibly happen in life. It's not going to happen. You can't do it. To live a good, healthy life is to live with the understanding that you are going to die. Okay? To live a good, healthy life is to live with the understanding that, number one, you are not going to escape death. I don't care what you do. Death is going to win. Bottom line. Deal with that first and foremost in your life. That'll help you a lot. Trust me. Every day you wake up, remind yourself, I'm a day closer to my death. It makes you appreciate your time, which is what you only own. The only thing you ever truly own in your life is your time. Your time is the only thing that can provide you with so-called freedom that you say you want. So remind yourself every day, I'm closer to my death. Whether death comes 80 years from now, 100 years from now, you're going to fucking die. You're talking to a man here that's probably going to die before you, especially if you're a lot younger than I am. I don't have a problem with that reality. I can't change it. It does me no good to sweat over the fact that I'm going to die, because you are too. Everybody does. I've been through enough cemeteries in my life, I can guarantee you. I don't care who you are. Right now, you are a lot better than John F. Kennedy or Martin Luther King, because they're dead. They can't do anything. You won't, because you still have some life. You've got to keep that balanced way of thinking and not let the trappings of the world control your life, but control your time. Embrace your time. Choose how you want to live, not the way culture wants you to live, not the way religion wants you to live. Live in a way that doesn't hurt other people. Live in a way that doesn't take away from other people. But live in a way that allows you to live freely. Realizing that all this stuff is going to turn to rust. Realizing that everything that you own, this, what we're doing right here, all came from the earth. This did not miraculously come from outer space, from some whatever. All this stuff came from manipulating earth. We've always had the ability to do all this, even back in the Stone Age. We just didn't know how. The resources have always been here to do all this stuff. From this live stream, these computer monitors, these smartphones, these cars, the resources have always been there. We just didn't know how. And instead of taking this knowledge and using it in a positive way to free ourselves, we've allowed it to burden ourselves because it controls us. Even our dear president is sitting here doing this because he's addicted. He thinks he's controlling something. He's bearing his soul to the world, which ultimately is going to cost him. But the point is like your time is all you've got. Freedom does not come from owning stuff. Freedom comes from having no baggage. People say, oh, how I can't live without my cell phone. How the fuck did people live for thousands and tens of thousands of years before we ever got the first? All this stuff is new. All this stuff is brand new. And people live. People live to be 70 and 80 years old. It's a fact. It's a provable fact. We had infant mortality. We had other things that shorten their lives, but people still die young today. But the reality is that we got to this point. You're here because of tens of thousands of years of people that didn't have any of this stuff. And you tell me you can't live without this stuff? If that's what you think, I can't survive without this, you're stupid. You're ignorant and stupid because we got here by couples that never knew about this shit. This is all new. 99% of what we're dealing with here, from these computers, cell phones, all this modern technology, came about in my lifetime. My life started without any of this stuff. Don't tell me you can't survive without it. Enjoy it, but don't let it rule your life. Freedom is just another word for nothing left to lose. Chris Christopherson wrote it. Janis Joplin sang it. Time is all you got. Culture, religion are not there to get you freedom. Those things enslave you. Religion especially. Religion has no interest in freeing you. Religion wants to enslave you. Convince you that my interpretation of God says that's a sin. Sin is a religious word. It's a sin. What was a sin back then is no longer a sin. But this is a sin today. It's a sin for a woman to breastfeed in public today. It wasn't 60 years ago. Everybody breastfed in public, but now God says that's a sin. Cover that breast. It's subjective. It's subjective to men's interpretation. And men have a lot of bent-up sexual bullshit going on. Trust me. All right. I think it's enough of a rant. And combining this with the 2 minutes I did before, I had the technical hiccup and had to redo here. The reality is, my friends, this is Wednesday. We got more rain coming in. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Remember, freedom does not come from accumulating stuff. You can spend the rest of your life working. That new vehicle you got is going to be old. That new cell phone you got is going to be outdated. That new TV you got is going to be outdated. All those things are going to come and go. And all this stuff that you've got has always been available to us throughout history. The resources to make this stuff, to build this stuff, has always been right here in the earth. Didn't come from outside sources. We just didn't know how to do it. And now you're living in a time to where we have been able to tap into these resources and learn how to manipulate this stuff and make all this stuff. But we have survived on this planet, from the resources of this planet, for tens of thousands of years. We can do it again and lead to future generations, or we can keep devouring the planet and raping the planet and nobody's left with anything. The bottom line is find a way to live life. Don't be trapped in allowing religion to control you, culture to control you, government to control you, because all that is controlling devices. They do not allow for freedoms. Don't hurt anybody. Don't steal from anybody. But learn how to live freely. Enjoy yourself and be you. You're going to die. We're all going to die. Keep that in mind. That alone, that knowledge will allow you to be freer in your life, because at the end of the day, you walk through a cemetery and you look at graves 200 years old. It's a marker on a piece of stone. Nobody remembers you 200 years later. Nobody cares. Enjoy your life freely.